Yes.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Social Work Sunday Tea. I am Shakia Houston. It's a great day to be alive and well. Today is June 12th, 2022. Hey, look, it's been a long
We
day,
here.
but we made it. We're here. We're live and in color. Today's tea. I have to put in my little plug for my tea. Today's tea for today is heal. We're doing with the elderberry,
Nice.
turmeric, the ginger root. We're gonna heal all that good stuff and help out with
Yes.
your body and your immune system. Hey, whoever that is, I can't see. Click on so I can say who you are. But no, it's a great day to be alive and well, and just a great day. Period. The sun is shining. It's Sunday, all that good stuff. But today we have a special guest. If you, Miss Bell, if you'd like to introduce yourself and everything about you, thank you so much for coming on to Social Work Sunday Tea. It's a
Thank
great.
you for
I'm
having
honored.
me. Yes, likewise. Definitely just shout out to you for doing your thing and just always holding it down. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. So myself, I am Lakeisha Bell. I am the owner of Life, oh Jesus, Elements of Life Coaching. I had to think which business on Elements of Life Coaching, which is a life and parent coaching business. And I offer life and parent coaching services to individuals and groups who are interested in creating a platform for themselves and a space where they can let themselves be free and expose themselves and open up and get the services they need as it pertains to life and parenting. I know that at times it is not easy. Life can be a struggle as well as parenting. I get it. I have two little boys myself, and I just want us as a whole to be comfortable with expressing our need for getting that self-care as it relates to life and parenting. I know that sometimes we look for platforms and outlets. Usually when I mention I'm a parent coach, someone is like, oh my gosh, I needed you, so, and I can use you. So I realize how important life is coaching is and parent coaching, and how useful it can be when you're trying to gather yourself and you're trying to maintain. And my background is in social work. So I have a license in social work. Child, youth, and family services is where I started from. So I just have a passion in helping individuals, helping parents, and helping us all to just gather ourselves and get the tools we need to maintain and stay afloat. Life gets hard, and we need to be able to gather ourselves and not feel bad about what we go through, but be able to be resourceful and get the tips and tools we need to stay on track.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, uh, oh wow! Someone said I was a great parent coach, uh, just for the wrong company, so I had to leave. Okay,
Mm.
okay, I understand that. Yes,
Yeah,
we understand.
yes,
Listen,
look,
what
you
made you
definitely.
get into? What made you get into Lakeisha? What made you get into this? Like the whole ordeal of as far as like with the social work and life coach, as far as parent life coaching. What made you get into that? Because it's so important. Because you know, um, it's totally needed.
Mhm.
As far
Yeah,
as like the structure and the strategy
yeah,
on how to be a parent. And I said before in one of my what I post, I said it's no handbook on
it's
being
not.
a parent.
No, And I wish it wasn't, even if it was, I wondered if we would actually follow it and if it would actually work for us, because we know that no two children are the same. It doesn't matter how many children you have, and no parent is the same, and we are not our parents, you know. And once we get out of that mind frame, I think when parenting and just be comfortable with how we parent and learning ourselves as a parent, which is what we'll talk about today, I think it allows us room to flow. And that's what kind of led me into this whole thing. So social work, I was always that person that liked to give advice. I was always a people person that, you know, wanted to talk and speak up. And it really hit me in high school. My grandmother raised me, and she would always just say, you know, you're good, you're pretty good with engaging with people, and you are good at listening. She said, you might be a good social worker. And thank goodness for grandparents, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was really encouraging to hear that, because it just put a name to the passion that I had, you know. So after, you know, going away to college and realizing this is what I'm going to do, I love helping people, I like working with children, went ahead and grabbed that master's degree. So once I did that and dibbled and dabbled, I was like, I realized that I did child welfare. So let me start with that. I did child welfare work. So I was a caseworker and doing some work there. And I got that experience and working with DCF families. And it really touched me in a certain way. And, you know, it really made me passionate about helping others and helping seeing those families achieve their goals, because I realized that so many families and so many parents just individually would be so much further if they had the resources and the tools that they needed to get there. So being in this position and, you know, having this information, I'm like, well, why not create a business and a platform, right, where I can go and expose people with raw information. I can actually meet them where they are and then not feel judged about the circumstances that they're going through. Because I do know, working in the field and then just being a human being and a woman, sometimes we do feel judged about the things that we go through. And, you know, as a social worker and a life coach, I realized that. And parenting and seeing so many of those families within DCFS struggle, and so many, particularly moms, you know, be labeled and take the blame for the circumstances that they went through, or that sometimes were even out of their hands. You know, I wanted to just do more. So, you know, being with that, it lets me to create Elements of Life coaching. And again, I get the ability to work one-on-one with individuals and meet them where they are and give them those tips and tools without them feeling judged, you know, creating and ending that taboo of saying, you know, what happens in the household stays in the household. But no, if what happens in the household has you struggling, how can we help you with that? Because we got to break those generational curses and get out of that mindset and speak up. Because I'll say in a minute, like, hey, I have a therapist, I have a life coach. And it's really, really beneficial to the work that I do, and being able to keep my cup where it needs to be, you know, and make sure that I'm not overflowing, because it can get to be a bit much. So why not help someone else who may not have the tools and know what to do in those situations?
Absolutely. So what is your definition of a parent?
Oh my goodness.
What's your definition? Because I listen.
Look,
go ahead.
I said, look, meet us where we are.
Meet
me. And first thing about a parent, though, I want everybody to know there's no such thing as a perfect parent. So whatever you've had in your mind, or whatever you've been told, or whoever is judging you to have you feel like that, drop it. You know, because the thing about parenting is you have to be comfortable. You know, you have to be able to own your stuff, because even you'll see as a parent, your children will tell you like, mama, that was wrong, or dad, you shouldn't have said that, or you cursed, you know, they'll pour your coat. So I feel like a parent is defined as someone who cares. We know that a parent doesn't necessarily have to be someone who birthed a child, a caregiver, and someone who's actually taking that time out to passionately care for that child, give them the time, you know, and give them the conversation that you need. And I've realized that with growing up, it didn't matter necessarily where you was getting information from. Relationships, bonds, and memories, lessons, they are learned on the people who are consistent in your lives. So with that being said, a parent is just someone who's devoted, you know, who's committed to saying like, hey, there's someone else that I got to think about besides myself. And there's something that needs to get done. And I'm going to fulfill those shoes, you know, and even with DCFS, or we or even in society, we create our ourselves, and we create traditions and things based on what others may feel, or what society may tell us. And sometimes we just got to follow with our heart, and what we know best of, because we push ourselves to the limit. And now we do feel pressured as parents to go and buy our children things and, go out of our way, when all we need to do is just take that time. So to me, that's what defines a parent: someone who can just be consistent, give some time and love to that child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the definition I'm going to do, I love your definition of, being a parent. And I think this is, what is this? Vocabulary.com.
Okay.
They said a father or a mother, one who gives birth or nurture and raises a child, a relative who plays the role of guardian. Yeah. But I love that illustration, how as far as parenting, someone that's said, I'm accountable for you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. You know what I mean? Like, I can relate to that. Even when my mom was on here now, child, they whooped me for world peace. But you know what? But it was just a different, the parenting styles. Like, it's a learned behavior, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like what their parents did with them, you're gonna do with yours, right?
Like the snowball effect.
So now, how my parents, they raised me. Growing up, I was blessed to be in a 2-parent household. I'm grateful for that, and so I see the difference. As far as everything wasn't easy, a lot of stuff they tell me as a child, but because of them being present, that makes the difference, and that makes a difference, a big difference in my life, and even in my daughter's life. I just not recently, but I'm divorced, and so I have to unlearn some stuff what I've been taught by my parents. Because it doesn't apply to my daughter in that type of structure. As far as like, yes, growing up and, doing the things, as far as to be a beautiful young lady and standards and morals, but it's the parent dynamic is not there. So it's a difference. And so I have to put myself in my daughter's shoes, as if I have to like try to figure it out. I don't know what it feels like to be in a household with just one parent.
That's real.
So it's real. So it's like, I have to be cautious, and I have to a certain extent, I'm like, okay, just because you only got one don't mean you can.
Right. You got the flow. Yeah. We still got boundaries.
But I put myself in other people, even in my child's shoes of what does it feel like to just have one parent? And, and my parenting style is different from my parents, or, and how they used to, do things. We're going to go into the different types of parenting. I don't know if you want to speak on what I said or whatever, but it's a free fall, and everybody, you comment and things like that. Oh, somebody got a comment. Have to be able to look at being told you're wrong as not disrespect, but a truth. You need to hear to help you improve your parenting experiences.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it really, really is.
Yeah, because honesty is key. And I think that you hit a point, with certain conversations. I'm gonna just boost it up a bit. Certain conversations were not being had. And I feel like our parents protected us a bit. When I'll tell my husband often, like, I wish they kind of exposed me a little bit more, I wish I was prepared, but it teaches me moving forward when conversations with my 2 little boys of how I want them to look, because the world has changed. No, the lessons don't change,
right?
But the time that, how things go, society, the things children are doing, those things changes, but it's a matter of with us as parents, caretakers, caregivers, to bring awareness to that and to stay on track within ourselves, which is why sometimes we have to put ourselves in groups, right? And it's actually something I'm going to post where we have to stay in tune with the conversations that these teenagers have and these children have, so that we can stay aware, because things have changed and it's not the same, where we were sort of scared to let certain things come out our mouths and or nervous. And these children now will test the waters. So it's almost just like you have to be prepared, because there are systems and things in place that will come into your household and disrupt it, you know, and there's not necessarily a guarantee that things are going to go back the way they were before, you know. So it's you creating your sense of normalcy, and just giving that shout out to parents, because anyone can be a parent. I'm realizing situations where aunts and uncles are raising children, you know. So I definitely want to pay homage to that, because we got to recognize it, because it takes a village. And if you see me, you're going to hear me say it 1,000,001 times, because it does. And everyone's village looks different, and it doesn't matter, as long as you got your cup filled up, you know, and you got what you need and enough to be able to pour over into the second one. I think you're doing a great job, because again, no one is perfect, and we all have traumas and things that we have to deal with. It's just a matter of being aware and then knowing how to get them, how to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every child requires a different parenting styles, and definitely the world has changed, so that requires different parenting. It has, because like growing up, I felt like it was, you know, everybody like, oh, that's the good old days, you know, and life was more simple. You know, you didn't have social media. We still have the dial-up phone, the dial-up internet, AOL. And then you get on the phone, you could be on the phone while it's dialing up. So you, if you on the phone too long, my daddy used to pick the phone up and hang it back up. It's just a different style of parenting, even when it comes to conversations.
Absolutely.
Even when it comes to uncomfortable conversations. I know for my mother and her mother, I don't think they talked about sex, or you know, they just taught you how to be a wife, or you know, be the nurturer, be, you know, be that, you know, be a wife to your husband. And that was my example. So like I'm like, oh, okay, then, you know, But when it got down to my daughter, and society has changed, the world has changed, I gotta have those uncomfortable conversations, because I don't, you know, I'm not faulting my mother, because you know she didn't have that conversation with me.
Absolutely,
It's passed down.
Age,
and I understand that now. But like I was like, nah, I'm gonna have to tell my daughter about this and this, how little boy how they gonna act, you know, if they like you, or you know, vice versa. And even about sex, like I have to talk about that, because the people on the outside is going to tell her, and they may be telling her wrong, or they may be telling her some other stuff, and I don't even know, on a different level.
Not the way you may want her to know. That's what that's about. And that's the key piece I always hit when I talk to my parents. Talk to your children. Just make sure it's age appropriate. You can have 1,000,000 conversations. It's just how you say it, you know. But nowadays, you do kind of have to speed those conversations up, because it's happening in other people's households, you know, and they're going to school with these individuals, and they're in public transportation and going to the malls, or if teenagers even still do that now. But you know, they're putting themselves in areas where they can't avoid it. You know, it's on TV, right? So it's like you have to have certain conversations with your children, or someone else will. So that's really huge. Just making sure it's age appropriate is how you do it.
Absolutely. Speaking of passing things down, intergenerational trauma is real. Yes, absolutely. Yes, my mom said my grandchildren are most definitely different from my children. Yes, they are. they something else. Yes. So child, I was like, hey, I could never. And I even now, like my dad, when he gets like angry, now he not old, but sorry daddy, but he's older. And you know, back then I was afraid. So my sister, one time, I'm talking about my sister, my older sister, because I ain't not saying I ain't do no wrong, but she skipped school. And out of all days, my daddy come and pick us up. And I was just like, because any other time we get on the bus, bam, we at home. But he came, and I was just like, okay, all right, let's go. You know, he was like, where your sister at? I was like, I don't know, you know, I'm out of that jam, because I didn't want to get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? But he get these wrinkles in his forehead. And even now today, I'll be like, when he get that, I'll be like, no. All right, I'm gonna head on out.
Time to go, right?
I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Because I respect it. I just a different. My dad was the. All right, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna hog smash you. All right. So it's different parenting styles. It it either make or break you, even in adulthood. So we're gonna talk about. Can you talk about the different parenting styles? I know someone spoke on that, like the authoritative.
Sure.
Yes.
So and you can break them down in multiple, but I won't go into the list and get all social worky on you.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We here for this.
But just to touch the surface, so I always hit on 4 different parenting styles: authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and uninvolved. And the authoritarian is usually the parenting style that's the strict version of parenting. And authoritative is the more so I'm in the middle, I'm a little more lenient, but it depends with boundaries type of parenting style. And then you have permissive, which kind of like let your head down. You may be trying to be a friend of your child, you're just a little bit easygoing in a parenting. And then you have the uninvolved parenting, who is usually just kind of like a hit and miss. Like, okay, I know you're here. I know I'm supposed to care for you, but what else do you need? And believe it or not, they all exist. And within yourselves, it's very important to find your style of parenting, because it helps you understand your child. And I love the fact that someone in the audience said there's a different parenting style for each child. Absolutely it is, because each child is different. You got a whole different person, a whole different birthday, a whole different personality. So you have to be aware of what parenting style that child requires, but then also what type of parent you are, right? Because that's where that support system comes in. That you may be a permissive parent and your children are just running over you, but then you have someone who's co-parenting with you who may be authoritarian, and then there it goes. You have to be able to accommodate each other's parenting style, because in the middle, those children are sort of getting the back end of both of those styles. So that's why I say it's important that you learn the type of parent that you are, and then the type of parent that child, parenting that child requires. And it's just a matter of identifying yourself and understanding. And again, understanding that you are not your parent, and your parent may have been an authoritative parent, someone who kind of just let things go and sometimes says things and you like, you know what, I don't want to do anything with my child. I'm gonna be a little bit uninvolved. Whatever my child decides, I'm gonna let them do their own thing. But if they need me, I'm there, and if I have to show up. So it's just a matter of knowing that, because in a sense, if you putting yourself in a situation or a battle with the wrong child, you'll be surprised where they go. So when I say use your support system as a parent, because if you have someone in your corner, maybe you're not in that right mind frame to be that parent for that child in that moment. And the moment that you respond the wrong way because something happened, when typically you're an authoritative parent and you're just mad because, say for instance, the light bill came and you're overwhelmed with something else, and now you're turning to the authoritarian parent, there can be a bit of a confusion, and now your child is responding to the confusion in parenting. So you got to know your limits as a parent too, because as a mother, I exhaust my resources. I'll tell my husband, it's your turn, I can't do it anymore, because now where I am, and I don't mind saying that, I feel I stand between the lines of an authoritative parent. I'll probably let the children run around a few times before I'm like, okay, it's time to sit down, you know how it go, that type of routine. But in a sense, I know when I've had too much, so when it's time for someone else to back me. So you just got to know your style of parenting and know what works for your household. It keeps down chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone said it's important to find a partner who's equally yoked with because two different parenting styles tend to cause serious problems in a relationship, especially if one is a authoritarian. Why can't I talk? Absolutely. And the other one is practicing conscious parenting. So the question is, someone asked the question, how do we bridge the gap between the gap with different parenting styles when outside parenting is the situation?
And that's a really great question, because a lot of times these 4 different parenting styles comes up most when you're co-parenting, when you're parenting outside of the home. And my thing is always, I know it's better said than done sometimes, but communication is key. Sometimes you have to come together, whether it be a family meeting, whether you're writing a letter, whether you're creating a group text, and communicate. Let your co-parents know, like, hey, I noticed these are some things that are happening in between some visits. Can we talk about them? Can we know them? These are some patterns I'm realizing. This is how we do things here and this in our household. And it's not necessarily asking you to change what's going on in the other person's household, because there are a number of situations where this happened. So you have to be comfortable. You have to be open to being okay with how things are going in the other person's household, but respecting that line is sort of drawn once that child comes back into the threshold of your doors. So I believe that creating a system where you can communicate. And I have a few outlets and a few things, because I'm a paper person. I know, forgive me trees, but I like to be able to give handouts and things like that for people to create a list. So what I mean by that is I have different things I can share where you can create different tips or different points that works for you and your family, different protocols and things, or different systems where your children know the rules are in the household, different times that you can also share with the other partner. That way it's a written statement or it's something in writing that you all can go by. And even if you got to go as far as getting it notarized, I mean, do what you got to do to keep the peace within your household, because it matters. And when you have children, you don't want your children to be in the middle of the two parents not being on the same page or being able to communicate. And it goes a long way, because children may not show you that they're going through something and that they're suffering from what it is that you're going through in your relationship, but they'll take it out when they're in school and when they leave out, and you may never know. So you definitely want to make sure that you're checking in, as well as too, if you have age appropriate children, chime in with them, see what they think, ask them, hey, I've been doing things this way, how does this look, what are your thoughts, break it down to them so that they can understand too, because when children, it's a relationship. It's anything with a ship, you got to communicate. And it just is what it is. And when it comes to children at a certain age, you want that. That's how you get that respect dialogue. That's how you keep your children communicating with you, so that they're not going outside the home and talking in between parents and feel like they're going to tell you something and the other parent don't know, but being on the same page. So when they do try to do something like that, it stops, or, it's being brought awareness to, because children will play you on that, and they'll use it to the best of their ability. So we have to come together, right, as adults and put our stuff aside. Sometimes you got to woosah. Sometimes you got to talk to your coach and your therapist before you call your other parent. It just is what it is, which is why I always say we have to center ourselves first. And know when the battles that we're picking and choosing. Because if you're not in the right mind space to talk to the other parent, because you always don't see it eye to eye, postpone it, or find a mutual party that you can connect with so that you can get those lines across.
Absolutely. Someone said co-parents can't have the mindset of my house, my rules. You have to be on the same page. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think, and it works together. But I like how you said, talked about how the kids can play on that.
Yes.
Especially if y'all at odds. I seen my own daughter do that. Me and her father are not seeing eye to eye. And, I'm thinking one way and he thinking another way. And then she was like, well, my daddy died. I'm like, before I knew it, I was just like, okay, let me stop. And being I had to be the bigger person. I'm not going to be going back and forth with nobody and nobody child. I'm not doing that. So look, this is what, and I'm communicating this to you. And if you not, and I'll just step back, I just step back tremendously, because I don't want to cause any other rifts or make things explode more than what it is. Yeah. How do you change perception if you've been painted negatively due to a past trauma of the mother in a past relations with men?
That's a really good question. And that comes up a lot, mostly, of course, with my DCFS clients, simply because those are most challenging areas where children are placed in different households. And then conversations are being had because of situations. I think the best, and this is just coming from honest experience, would be, because we can't fall back into the past, we have to gather our plan to move forward with that. Absolutely. Because words are going to be words. And at the end of the day, people are going to believe what they want to believe, regardless if you're doing everything right or absolutely everything wrong. So as a parent, I believe that the best thing with that is to pick yourself up by the boot where you are and create those positive conversations from where you are at that point, because that healing piece starts with there. And I always say there's no age limit at how to heal. There's no wrong place to say, you know what, well, it's too late. You're at this age and I can't talk to you. No, that's not true. That's not true. Repair can be at any point. It's all about your will and commitment to get it done. And if you've had situations where you've been down talked or down put, or your character has just been, spoke negatively on, I think the best thing with that is try to take some positive light of knowing that you as a person has done the best that you can do. And no matter what, you're working toward rebuilding that relationship with that child. And as long as you have that rapport with that child and that bridge is opening up, let that be that main concern. Because believe it or not, I've seen doors change. I had a mom who struggled really bad because she had been out of her child's life for a very long time, and given the opportunity, now he was 16, and it was to a point where she was trying to buy his love, because of course every time she came around with something new, it was opened arms. But then if she didn't have it or couldn't be that mom, it was a bad connection, and she was just so emotional about it. And I told her, I said, you know what, don't give up. I said, just keep trying. I said, because at the end of the day, children are sponges, and it don't stop. Even as adults, we still want something from our parents. Something, we're expecting something. So it's almost like there's still room for forgiveness. It's just a matter of, like I said, that time. Don't put no time to it. Just be dedicated to it, because those doors will open up soon. And create those safe spaces. And again, we can't control the environment that our children are in. We can just control ourselves and try to put the situation in a certain space where it's not taking over who we are, because we can easily be controlled and be the other person. But no, you're obviously working toward creating a great space with a wonderful individual, which is a child, right, who is innocent and has nothing to do with the situations that we put ourselves in or around. So just work on those positive relationships, create those positive conversations. And I say any opportunity you get to connect and bond, I say go for it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think that's the perfect example. Like, just keep going. Like I always tell Jesse, I tell my cousin Jesse, hey, it's not a race, it's a marathon.
Hey,
at the end of the day, you got to keep going, keep going. And when you get tired, even when you get tired, because parenting, it's a lot.
It's hard. It's overwhelming. Look, I'm a parent coach. I always say, you all will probably see me if I'll make jokes, but in life, I'm serious. Like, where's my parent coach? Like, sometimes we all really just need that support. And that's why I say, no matter what it looks like, take that. If you got someone saying, I don't mind taking them, you need an hour or two, take it, because that is an hour or two for yourself. That's an hour or two for your mental self-care, because we talk about it all the time with that self-care piece. It's not just looking good, but it's about mentally feeling good. And as a parent, if you're overwhelmed and loaded with everything, when are you getting time to breathe? When is your brain having time to relax? Because a lot of times you think you sleep when you're asleep, and it's not. It's still going. Because you're thinking about the things that you have to do. And parenting, it doesn't stop. That's why I say, as adults, even like you said, with your parents on here, what they doing? They doing their job. They supporting their baby. So parenting does not stop. So it's just a matter of how you're feeling yourself. Who's around you to help fuel you as well. You got people around you that's negative and pulling on your strings and always telling you what you're doing wrong as a parent. Those are probably toxic people, which is a whole nother conversation. But those are people who definitely, you got to change your circle up. Because people, I people who probably like, okay, I see you yelling. Come on, babies, let me get the children. I know you're a little bit overwhelmed. And it just is what it is. As a parent, you got to say, I need a break. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. It's okay to take a trip. And if you, especially if you got somebody you can leave your children with, get what you need. Because I guarantee you, when you come back, you're gonna be ready to take on the whole football squad. It's just you feel rejuvenated, and it's really, really needed in what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you say to even adults or children that they didn't have good, as far as it's no such thing as a good parent or a bad parent, but a parent that was, as far as neglectful of their emotions and their feelings, and they're no longer here. What do you say, or how do you help even adults and children, how do you help them, along the way, as far as um, coping or trying
Mhm.
to, not saying get over, but work around um, of those past feelings and emotions. When it comes to people, they passed on.
Yeah,
You can't come back, but
yeah,
you still have that inner child in you.
yeah,
Like you was
absolutely.
always talking about, our parents. We always want our parents. We always want them. And
Hmm.
so, what do we say to people that parents were, neglect them, kind of like threw them off to the wayside, and they're no longer here?
Yeah, I would definitely, and that's another great question, Shakia. And I believe that when you have conversations in situations like that, I believe you have to know yourself and get the support that you need. So I will
Mhm.
always say, find someone that you can talk to, find an outlet for yourself. I always say, no matter what that look like, you have to find your own amount of peace, because we all deal with things that we haven't quite healed from yet.
Yeah,
And we have parents that are still here on this earth now that we want to get stuff out about, and we're not able to. So my thing is always, if you have a parent or someone you need to get some stuff off to, find your own outlet in a sense of writing, finding your support system, that outlet space. I always hear a lot of people say that when they don't get things off to people, they able to walk, they're able to do art therapy, they're able to find other ways that they can connect and not necessarily hold on to those things. I would say write them out as if you were going to talk to that person, and that way it's almost as if you're having a conversation. Even if you sit yourself in a room, and I'm so serious with that,
yeah,
and have a conversation with that person, and it's just you and them. Give yourself a day to do that, because guess what? It's something that needs to be said.
yeah,
It's something that needs to be let out,
yeah,
and you're owed that. And regardless of if that person is not there in that room at that moment, you're putting it into the universe. And
yeah,
believe it or not, I'm definitely a person that is spiritual and a believer that you're being heard. So with that being said, find your way, find your place of calm, because everybody deals with things differently.
yeah,
And it's up to that individual person to learn what that is, because you don't want to use that bottled up stuff and penalize someone else for something that had absolutely nothing to do with, or something that someone that's reminding you something else to do. In that sense, know your triggers, right?
yeah,
Know
yeah,
when you are around people who are bringing up those emotions, or
yeah,
who are putting you in situations where you're uncomfortable, or you're being remembered, having memories and lights that are leading you to do things that are self-harmful to yourself and leading you to self-sabotage, because those
yeah,
are all harmful things that lead to disaster, and it leads to wounds that are unhealed. So if you're
yeah,
looking for healing, I think that's the best route. And my suggestion,
yeah,
as a coach, as a professional and social worker, someone who's really been doing this and connecting with individuals, I think that would be my best suggestion.
yeah. And a lot of people, they don't talk about, we don't. I'm gonna put myself. You don't talk
Mhm.
about the unspoken. You don't talk about the unspoken hurt. As far as that, some of the damages. When
You
you
don't.
really think about it. And I always say this over and over and over again. We have to unlearn to learn again.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
yes,
we got to, even with the
yes,
parenting, even with parenting,
absolutely.
we have to unlearn some stuff, and then, okay, let me learn this all over again, and get it right. Try to
Yeah,
get it right.
yeah. Try.
Um,
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
try to get it right.
Mhm.
Comment: the need of the mother makes things difficult, often not cooperative. Open appears open appears to be but bashing still openly around the kids. Not oh wait. So not working favor able not working favor wait able to do wait, I can't even read today.
Mhm.
Able to do you move around or be verbally aggressive.
Okay, so people
So
still back.
she's openly bashing
So
in front
she's
of the kids.
he says the need of the mother makes things difficult.
Difficult, right? Makes things difficult and not
Yeah, so I see what you're
cooperative.
saying. So the children need their mother, and
Yeah,
it's difficult not having her there. But
yeah.
then with her openly bashing,
It's not working.
is not working as
Yeah,
well. And no, that's you're absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Um, and it's not going to help as well if the other parent is not being receptive to the fact that there is this thing that's going on, and not being aware to how it is hindering the relationship between the children, and the children are constantly seeing conflict, and we have to understand that conflict, it leads to trauma. Constant conflict leads to trauma, because children now will believe that this is how we're supposed to resolve things. So there has to be a minimum. And again, it may not come from you speaking particularly, because it sounds like you two are not, obviously not on the same page. So there's gonna have to be someone that can bring you two together. And a lot of times I believe the safest way to do that, if we don't have another person, is I'm just going to go ahead and put out family court. And family court is not DCFS. It's totally different. Family court is just saying, hello, hey, I'm noticing there's some issues going on. I have a co-parent. We're not able to see eye to eye. Can we draw up some type of agreement or put something in writing to say, hey, these are kind of like how we got to do things. Yeah. And if that's what you need, it's called support. Do not feel judged. And I would hope that you wouldn't feel judged about getting that support, because I would rather you all get what you need now before whatever it is turns into something else. Because when I tell you DCFS picks up cases involving children, neglect, domestic situations, a loud argument over a lot of times, and people are constantly hearing it and they're having to come out. If too many times, DCFS will come out. The police will call DCFS. So you want to create something. I'm asking, and I'll put my information in the chat and stuff. But just if you need that support, or just someone that I can connect you with, so that you can start to move forward with family court resources, if that's something you need, because that's important. And I appreciate you being on here and speaking up, because again, here we go. Someone else is taking the initiative to say, there's something going on, and I need some acknowledgement. Absolutely. So I commend you for that, because a lot of people won't share, a lot of people won't speak up. But this is, I feel, what the generation and the time is now opening up, where more people are speaking up on what they need, because it's almost, things happen like that. Yeah, and before you know it, it's too late, regardless of what that situation is. And when I tell you, DCFS is not a system that children need to be in, please. So if you're going to get that assistance and get what you need, get those tools. But I totally understand and agree with you that it is hard to co-parent with someone who's not listening. So in that space, if you can't find a mutual person, a grandmother, usually grandmothers are older, someone who can bring people together, or a common person, whatever that looks like to help you out in that situation, I would definitely suggest advocating toward some type of family court. Yeah.
I would. He at the end, do you move around or be verbally abusive? Like no, I'll just say move around and do what Lakeisha said. Definitely, because it's definitely needed some type of intervention. And this is your intervention, getting people involved. Like, hey, she's not trying to see eye to eye. Hey, well, you don't want to see it my way, or see what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, let's get somebody else involved. And then you really ain't gonna like it. And you would have just like, okay, let's have a conversation and let's talk about it. Yeah. Even with my ex-husband, I try to have a conversation, and and there's another dynamic in there, because his wife, I'm telling all my business right now. I'd rather be transparent, because it's somebody else going through that.
They know. Yep.
So his wife get involved when I'm trying to, have a conversation, and dealing with our with our child. Oh yes. And she intervened. I'd be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna step back, because and Chelsea's not doing this.
Yeah. So, look. And I'm glad you said that when you say you put out your business, but no, that's keeping it real, and that's what we do. And it's about picking and choosing your battles. Look, I don't care how many arguments you done won, how many fights, how good you can curse somebody out. Sometimes you just gotta let it go. You gotta let it go, because it's not worth your energy. And I guarantee you'll feel good about letting go and walking away. Because it's just not worth it. And if you're gonna sit there and if you know you're doing your part, I'm not gonna give you the time of day. Like you said, now it's time to go about it professionally. Yeah. And that's how I do it. I say you whether you're gonna handle it, you're gonna be street or you're gonna be professional. And some situations, honestly, now for me, a lot of situations is professional. Like, I really don't have time for it. Yeah. So it's almost just like you do have to say that, you know what? use your tools. I said
Yeah.
it, and I'm not kidding. If you got to run up a notary and go to the currency exchange, it's like $1 or $2 to get
Yeah.
something notarized.
Yeah.
Right? Put it in writing and legalize it. It's now
Yep.
a legal document, and
Yep.
you're doing whatever you need to do to protect yourself and those children.
Children,
Because
yeah.
it's about them, y'all. It's
Yep.
completely about them. Like
Absolutely.
seriously, we're protecting them in their hearts and their minds up until we can't anymore, you know. And that's just is what it is. So do what you gotta do to cover your tracks and your children.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we anything extra you want to add, some more tea for the people, but you did an awesome job, and I really, really appreciate that. You know, it for me, it's for the people, it's for the culture, and everybody to get
Absolutely.
what they need,
Yeah.
regardless of, you know, where they are, and you know, and I meet people where they at, you know what I mean? And
There
I
it
think
is.
even with parenting, you gotta meet the children where they are.
There you
If
go.
you know, be more involved, like you said,
Yep.
you know, and try to meet them where they at. Like as
Yeah.
far as with everything, you know, I'm being all my daughter business. Like, what we doing?
Yeah,
Okay, you
seriously.
know, and listen, it be days, it can be tiring, but
That's your job.
it's my job.
Stand up for it. Yep.
Yep.
Permanent job.
Yep.
It
Yep.
is what it is.
Yep.
You know, I just want parents and just everyone to be in a space where they speak up when they need what they need. And
Yeah.
it's okay. You're
Yeah.
only human. Like, let the judgment go, let the labels go, let your
Yeah.
hair down. Even
Yeah.
after seeing this, go do something nice, you know, and
Yeah.
and even if you got your children, do something, especially do something with your children, take advantage. It's so much going on in
Yeah.
Chicago. I know we hear about the negative, but
Yeah.
the positives, like go to the museum, take advantage of the festival, spend time with your children. Ask your children what they want to do, right? Try not to make plans all the time around them just saying, just dictating. Hear them out. See what it is they want to do and take value. If you got a yard and yard space, get back in the yard. Spend that time with your children and improvise, right? Don't put so much pressure on yourself to spend and do things, but put value into movie times and, you know, making dinner again together. And let's bring back that mentality, because I know that's how a bunch of us was raised. So let's teach that and let's keep that going.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you so much for getting on this live and
Thank you
sharing your wisdom and your thoughts and all that good stuff. Tell us more where they can find you and upcoming events that you have, things like that.
Sure. Yes. I would love for all of you all to just stay in tune with me. Just have conversations. This is my energy all the time. So whenever you see me, this is Lakeisha. Okay.
Yes, all the time. And I love it.
So follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Elements of Life Coaching. I'm on Facebook. You can find me under Elements of Life Coaching and Lakeisha Bell. So either one you type in, I know I'll pop up. Check my website out. It's www.elementsoflifecoach.org. So pretty much everything is the same name. So just go ahead and put me in the search bar. I'm usually everywhere. I love doing vendor events. I actually have one coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and plug that. I'm gonna be with This Is Life. They're doing a talent show and resource fair, and I think that's amazing. So that's July 25th. 945 West 69th Street from 1 to 4 p.m. So come out. I think that's going to be amazing. And then I am myself creating a block party, a block club. So I'm excited about that. Of course, last year I did the self-care and wellness. This year I want to do the same thing, but I'm centering around the community. So that's going to be July 23rd. So please keep your ears to the computer screens for that, to the streets, as we say. Yes, right. And just be aware. So yes, please follow me. I would love to stay in tune. If you got a question, hit me up. It is what it is. I'm here for you. That's what we do. So I'm available to you, your family now.
Yes, absolutely. We all cousins. That's why I'm saying we cousins, we family. Yes. And Social Work Sunday tea. I'm gonna be there for the 23rd. I'm gonna be there.
Yes,
definitely gonna be there and give out resources as far as, you know, I'm gonna cook something else up, you know, we do. Yes, it's gonna be good. And this is all about connecting and networking and, you know, giving to the people. At the end of the day, it's for the people, it's for the culture. And make sure and everybody get what they need, you know, to get through this thing called life.
Yeah, seriously.
That's it. That's all. And I want to put in my pluggers for my tea, you know, Social Work Sunday tea. Make sure you get some tea on my website, socialworksundaytea.com. And also make sure you get your prom tickets. Get your prom tickets. Get these prom tickets. And I have Afterpay. You put something on it. You know what I'm saying? Put something on it. Just go ahead, put something on it. So I just want everybody to, support, give it to 2 nonprofit organizations here in Chicago. It's gonna be amazing. All that stuff.
I went last year. It was amazing. It was super dope. I know this year it falls on my husband's birthday weekend, and we're planning to go for Canada. So I'm like, I'll miss this one, but you got my support. So yes, y'all make sure you all get your tickets. You definitely don't want to miss out. And I know it's gonna be bigger than last year because she already said it. So make sure. So do not miss out. It's definitely the place to be.
Yes, thank you so much, so much. And look, you got to come back on Social Work Sunday Tea. We got to come up with another topic and get it cracking.
Yes, let's do it. You got me permanently, sis.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So tune in next week. We got another special guest out of Brooklyn, New York. Gonna be amazing. I want everybody to look. I'm booked all the way up to July 10th.
Hey, there you go. So look, it fall right in place. I came in right on time.
Let the marathon begin. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I love you guys, and you guys have a great and productive Sunday. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye-bye.